Hi everyone, I'm Kim Chamberlain, the Canal Town Stitcher, and welcome to my channel. This is a channel about cross stitch and other crafty things that I decide to show, but mostly cross stitch. It's been a minute since I have filmed last. I actually filmed a video in April that I never got a chance to upload. So what I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to introduce you to me and who I am and what I'm about to share. And then I'm going to show that video that I filmed in April and then add to it what I have done so far since that video and into May, and share with you what my plans are and all of the fun things. So there's going to be like a little break in there, and there's a little bit of that time, and then you'll see me again looking like this, and I will film the rest. So without further ado, here is the video from April. Hi Flosstube, I'm Kim Chamberlain, the Canal Town Stitcher, and welcome to my channel. Today, this is a channel primarily about cross stitch, and today I'm going to do my March update. I know it's mid-April, but March just flew by so fast, and I didn't have a really good opportunity to video or film, so I'm excited that I can actually sit down and do it now. It's the start of our spring break, so I have a little bit of extra time, a little bit more daylight, and it seems to be like it's a good time to show you what I'm working on. So let's see here. Let's do a little bit of life updates. There's really not much to go over. TJ's been traveling. He traveled a lot in March, and he's home today, but he's leaving tomorrow. And so of the first 3 days, like really of spring break, where he won't be here. And I've been sick for like the last week and a half or so. I am starting to get better, but I am still coughing a lot. So I have a drink here that I will be drinking if I need to. And, you know, otherwise I think we're good. We're good. I don't really have a lot to share on the life front. I am going to be painting a room this week, and so we're trying to choose paint colors right now, which is never easy to do. It's very hard to choose paint colors, especially when two people are having a different opinion of what color it should be, but we'll figure it out. We always do. I don't have a lot to share because I worked on several projects for a long period of time. So I don't have like as many projects to show you, but I do have a lot of progress to show you, I guess is a good way to put that. And I think we'll just get started. I think that sounds good. The first one I have is a finish. I do have plans to do some fully finished projects this week. So I always have plans for that. This is Lizzie Kate, Merry Friend Santa 2003. And I finished it. It really didn't need that much to finish, so it wasn't like a super hard finish, but it's really cute. My son Ethan got this for me for Christmas a couple of years ago, so I am excited that it is done and I can fully finish it now. And then we can talk about WhipGo. So for WhipGo in March, it was, hang on, let me just pull this up. Dogs are outside. And for WhipGo in March, it was number 9, which was Scandinavian Forest, and number 24, which was Quaker, and I didn't work on either of those. And then April was called number 4, Advent Animals, and number 10, which is Away We Ride, and I haven't worked on either of those yet this month either. In February, it was Quaker, and I did work on it in February, and then number 8 was Wonderful Feast, and I have been working on that. So that's the next one I'm going to show you because I decided to start it over again. That was the one that I was doing on 18 count time, 1/1, and I wasn't pleased with the way that it was coming out. I didn't think that the colors were bright enough. I had made so many errors on it, so many mistakes that like I was so discouraged and did not, just dropped a whole bunch of floss, did not want to work on it. And so I was like, you know what am I doing here? Like, why am I fussing with this? It's really not making me happy. I really don't like stitching it. I don't want to do it anymore. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I have a piece of fabric and I'm just going to start over. So this is the one I'm talking about. It's the Most Wonderful Feast of the Year. This is by Sue Hillis Designs. I love this pattern. I love the end result. I hated what I was doing. So I just decided, you know what? Let's not hate things anymore. So I pulled out this piece. It's a piece of 28 count lamb's wool Jobelin even weave. And, oh, you know what I forgot? Hang on just a second. I forgot my board. Hang on, I'm gonna go get it. Okay. I can only find one of my clips. I don't know. Hopefully it'll be enough to hold it up. So I restarted it. I'm much happier with it. And this is where it is now. And I love that it is so much brighter. And it's bigger, obviously, because it's not on 18 count. It's on 28 count, so it's bigger. But I don't mind that. I think it's going to be great. It's going to go in my dining room during Thanksgiving. So I'm very pleased with it. Really glad. So I spent a lot of time working on this, obviously, because I have a lot of that first row done. I started working on this turkey L down here. And then I realized that I'm out of a bunch of the colors, so I'm going to go to Michael's and get those. But overall, I'm really happy and was very excited after I restarted it. And I'm getting somewhere with it. So I just think now it's just going to be a matter of just continuing to work on it. Because I don't hate it as much as I did. Next up, I had a new start. One new start. And let me show you this one. So this was one of the ones that I was going to start for the new year, and I didn't start it in January. I started it about a week ago, and it is a pattern I got on Etsy, and it's New York State cross stitch pattern. It is by Vlada X Stitch. And so if you recall, it's going to look like this when it's done. And if you recall, I, as soon as I saw this, I knew exactly where it was in New York. It is from Letchworth State Park. So if you're familiar with New York, Letchworth State Park is like the Grand Canyon of the Northeast. It is absolutely gorgeous there. There are natural waterfalls. And I knew what it was because of the train tracks. Sorry, there's a glare from the window in the room. And of course the waterfalls and all the trees and the gorges. This park actually is where my parents had their wedding reception at a restaurant called the Glen Iris Inn, which is still there and still open. But I knew exactly where it was as soon as I saw it. I didn't even have to look at the description, which tells you that it is Letchworth, to know where it was from. I downloaded Markup XP, and I've been using that. This is my first pattern to use that with. But I started uploading my Fruit of Plenty today so that I could work on that. So let me give you a little bit of statistics, because I have never done statistics before. I don't keep track of the number of stitches that I usually stitch, but this tells me for me. So far I have stitched 1,019 stitches, and it tells me that it's 25% complete. I don't really know. All I know is that I'm enjoying using the app, because it does make it much easier to make sure that I am keeping track of where I'm stitching. It is not a full coverage piece because it doesn't go like end to end, but it is full coverage in that there's no blank, there's no empty space at all within the actual pattern except for where it says New York at the bottom. So this is where I have come to on it. And I am really loving this. This is getting stitched on a piece of 32 count limestone Lugana. Swigert. If I'm stitching this at night, I definitely need my magnifier. But during the day, I'm good. I don't need it. So now I can just go on to my regular whips. And this month I just really pulled out whatever I felt like working on. I didn't really have like I definitely want to work on this type of attitude about anything. I just realized, oh, they're in my other pocket. I took all my wedding rings off because I made a meatloaf for dinner. I don't like to work with raw meat with my rings on. I just noticed I'm not wearing them. And they're in my other pant pocket. All right, so I worked on the Emerald City by Satsuma Street. And I like to pull up pictures of everything I'm working on. So this is what it looks like. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. This is the picture from Etsy, so you can still get this on Etsy. I got mine from the Readly app, which I've talked about before on my channel. So if you have the opportunity to go check that out, go for it. This lives in the hoop for the most part, because I work on it a lot. Like, I don't take it out of the hoop because I'm always wanting to work on it. Now, I discovered a mistake in it, but I think I can fix it. But this is where my progress is now. I'm working on the yellow brick road here. I did all of this, and I finished up some over here. I'm obviously working on the yellow brick road. This is one of those projects that when I want to have fun, I pull it out. Like, I just want to do something fun, and so I pull it out. It's going to be really cute and really pretty when it's done. Not sure what I'm going to do with it, though. Hang it in here, maybe. This is my guest room. Okay. I apologize for all of the zippers and the bags and all of that too. I should apologize for that at the beginning of the video. Okay. I worked at Summer at the seashore, Summer at the Seashore, I've been working on this week. Cottage Garden Samplings. I stitch a lot of their work. And I have almost the entire seagull done, but then realized that I don't have one of the colors I need. So I need to go and get that in order to keep working on this. This is being stitched on another piece of even weave. This is 32 count platinum even weave. And there is that beautiful seagull. I just love the birds that Cottage Garden Samplings have. This is just such a beautiful piece. And I have almost all of the bird done. I'm short a color down here, and I have to finish up the tail of this feather. Actually, I think that's the bird tail, now that I look at it. But anyways, so yes, he's glorious. So beautiful. I have been rewatching The Handmaid's Tale, so some of the music plays in my head when I see this piece. Does that happen to you too? Like when you hear music and you're like, so like we were talking the other day about all the books that I had to read in high school. And at the time, Apollo 13 had come out. I was a junior in high school, and I bought the soundtrack. Anything that James Horner wrote, any movie soundtrack that he wrote, I loved. From Braveheart to Titanic to Apollo 13. I mean, you name a film he wrote the score for, and I'm gonna love the score. I didn't watch every movie that he made, that it was, because I've never seen Braveheart all the way through, but the beautiful music, the music in that film is just absolutely phenomenal. So anyways, anytime that I hear Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix, I think about Lord of the Flies, because I was actually reading that book when I was listening to that soundtrack. And so now I find myself doing kind of the same thing with my cross stitch. So like if I'm stitching on something for a long time and I'm watching a show with it, then I'll hear the music. So like for a while I was watching Versailles, and I don't know, like that's another show that I just, phenomenal, just love Versailles. And so now I hear the soundtrack playing when I'm looking at some of the cross stitching that I was doing during that time. It's so funny. But anywho, back to my stitching. Okay, so the next piece I worked on was Fa La La. This is by Madame Chantilly. And it's these little mice. And I was like, one day I was just like, oh, I want to work on that. So I pulled it out, and started working on it. This is also going on a piece of, no, this is going on Whisper. Belfast linen, 32 count. Right, it's Whisper. It tells me actually, because I actually have the thing on it. Yes, it is Whisper. 32 count Belfast linen in the color Whisper. And I am just about done with the second mouse. Now, I've been working on this far too long for this to still be around, but here it is. It's looking adorable. I'll work on it some more. So cute. All right, next up, International Santas. I have been working on this forever and a day, but I am getting somewhere on it. I am proud to say. So this one will be done soon. The last Santa is almost complete. I don't have a cover page for this. I'm sorry. Sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't, and this is one of those opportunities where I do not. But anyways, it's almost all the way done. So I am now working on this last Santa. Got his robe almost all the way done. Got to do all the details in it, his face, and then finish all of these snowflakes all the way across. And I am going to do some of the back stitch, not all of it, but I'm going to do some. Like there's some lacing in the boots on this one that probably would benefit from being done. But like, let me get close so you can kind of see. This is stitched on a piece of 28 count Whisper. Cashel linen, I think. Oh no, this is even weave. It's even weave. It's almost done. It's almost there. It'll be done by Christmas this year. Now, ask me if it's going to be ready to hang up by Christmas this year. It may be, or it may be not. We will see what happens. All right. There's that. Now, let me see here. The last one, I think, is this one, which is the fox, but I can't remember. Yes, I worked on this just a little bit. Just a little bit. So here's the fox by Cottage Garden Samplings. Again, they are one of my favorite designers. I've stitched several of their pieces. I love them. I love this. The last time I showed this, I had finished all of these things, and then, well, actually, I think this part of this tree, this was done, I think, and I finished all of this part. So this is going on a piece of Nocturne, 32 count, Belfast linen. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I was debating on whether or not it was going to fit, but it definitely is going to fit. So I think it's going to be tight, but that's okay. That is okay. I don't plan on lacing it, so there's plenty of space for the edging. All right. I think that's all the stitching that I've done. I do have some plans to go over, so we will come back for that. Okay, so now we're back. So some life updates from the last month. There isn't a whole lot to share other than my husband got a different position at work, so he's gonna be traveling a little more, which is a little bit scary for me, but I think it'll be good for him, so I'm really happy and proud of him for that. I got new glasses, so they're a little different than what I had before. They're a little darker, but I think it'll be okay. I have like the blue light, and refractive lenses and things like that. I think that's why they're a little bit darker than they would be normally. Plus, I also got transition lenses this time, and I'm finding that they will change inside the house, which I think is a little strange, but anyways, it's working. Grace is getting ready to graduate from high school, which is super sad but super exciting at the same time. It's Memorial Day weekend this weekend, and we're doing a lot around the house and a lot of things trying to get done this 3-day weekend, and then school is over in just a couple of weeks, and then we'll be heading to New York for a while. So all good things, really good things are happening for us at this point. So I have been stitching, but I had surgery on my hand, so people may not have recognized it, or they might have recognized it in my previous videos, but I had a very large ganglion cyst on my right hand, and it was atrociously large. And so in April 30th, actually, I had it removed, and thankfully there was nothing but a cyst there. But they also had to grind down some of my bone as well. So stitching has been a bit of a challenge because it is on my right hand that they removed it from. So I was actually pre-watching the last video from April when I filmed it, and you can actually see the cysts. So I'm sure that you could see it in a lot of my Stitch With Me videos and things like that. It was the largest one that anyone had seen in the doctor's office, so I had let it go way too long. So when you have those, don't let it go too long before you take care of it. But I'm still dealing with some of that. So I have a little bit of pain, and I can do things with my hand now that I couldn't do a few weeks ago. Like I can comb my hair and things like that, but there's still like some things that my hand doesn't like. However, stitching has not really been a problem for me since I've been able to like really start trying to move, and I've been really working with my hand so that I don't lose like function and things like that. It's been kind of a rough road. There's moments when it feels really, really good, and then moments when it feels really awful. So, you know, it's kind of touch and go. So sometimes I'm really good and I can stitch for a while, and other times I'm not like really stitching at all. So I did get quite a bit of stitching in though, surprisingly, before I went in for my surgery. And then actually the day of my surgery, I came home and I was actually able to stitch a little bit two-handed. My hand was like in a cast. It was like it was fully wrapped and it was completely numb. So I just kind of held up my cross stitch hoop and then I was stitching left-handed, which I found I can do, but it's kind of slow. So I wouldn't have to give up stitching completely if I wasn't able to use my right hand anymore, but it was definitely a challenge. But I accepted that challenge because there were times that I really needed to stitch for my own mental health, and so I was able to kind of work through that. But that's why there's not as much stitching as I would have liked to be sharing because of that. So but there is still quite a bit that I can show you and talk about. So what have I been stitching since the last video? Well, I've been stitching on a lot of bigger projects and spending a lot more time with them. So let's start with my Fruit of Plenty. So that was the 2021 stitch along for Modern Folk Embroidery, and a lot of people were stitching it at the time, and I did not jump right on the bandwagon right when everybody else did. So I didn't start my Fruit of Plenty until the beginning of 2023. It was like January of 2023 when I started mine. So this is what the Fruit of Plenty is going to look like when it's done. You can choose any two colors that you want, one light, one dark. I've seen it in many, many, many different colors. If you put in Fruit of Plenty Modern Folk Embroidery on Instagram and you just scroll through, you can see a whole bunch of different ideas and colors for this. This is incredible to stitch. It is a lot. It's going to be huge, but I love it. And so I do work on it. When I pull it out, I work on it for a good bit because I want to get a good amount done. And in the last section of my video, when I was doing my April update, my March update actually into April, I talked about Markup XP because I actually purchased it for the year, and then I downloaded some of my charts onto it and I've been using it. And so I was able to download all of my Fruit of Plenty onto that. And so I can give you some statistics on it. But I worked on this for a really good amount of time. I really wanted to get 2,000 stitches in, and I did. Was it 2,000? Let me see. I can actually look. Getting up close and personal with you guys here. Just go into my Markup XP here and take a look. It looks like it might rain actually. It's getting cloudy. They said there might be some thunderstorms. So on the Modern Folk Embroidery, I have on this page, I did 1,548 stitches. So I think that's a lot, 1,500 stitches. I wanted to get to 2,000. I don't know. I just didn't get to it. But anyways, I'm on page 2. And this is where I'm at. I'm sorry, I do not have time to iron everything. So I know I say that every time, and people have been so gracious and have said, don't worry about ironing it, it's okay. But for those of you that like to see it ironed, I'm really sorry. Anyways, I did all of this. So all of this was what, oh, and part of this, because I did a whole, like I started a whole new page. So all this and over I did. Well, I was having fun working on this. And I'll probably pull it out again soon. This might be a summer stitch. I take certain projects with me to New York, and I'm there for about 7 weeks-ish. So, excuse me. So, because I don't take all of my stash. I take some pieces with me. A lot of work gets done on those pieces. And if there's something that I really think I can finish, I'll probably take that with me to finish it. It's getting dark in here. Okay. So like you can see, I'll try to show you. Like this is huge. This piece is huge. It's going to be enormous, but it's going to be beautiful in my dining room. And I am stitching this with 644 and 932. 932. It is 932. 644 and 932. Those are my 2 colors. All right, next up, let's show you the progress I made on my New York. This is by Blada X Stitch on Etsy. And let me try to get I work on this a lot. I have worked on this a lot. It is in the hoop still. I gotta find it. Some good notes. I'm sorry, I'm always looking for something. Like all of my followers and people that have been with me for a long time know I'm always looking for something. Always, always, always. Because I never have my life together. I am totally a type B personality, a type B teacher. If you don't know what that means, like watch some videos on TikTok on what a type B teacher is like, because I am that person. I have a lot of things. Why am I in here? That's not where I want to be. I want to be on Etsy. My goodness. That person's that's like, oh yeah, it's in Teams. And then I'm like, oh, wait a second. I forgot to upload it into Teams. Hang on a second. Okay. Continue to cart. Actually, my purchases is really where I want to be. Purchases. So I can show you what this looks like. Here it is. So this is what it's going to look like when it's done. So I have a lot of this done. I worked on this a lot. I've taken this project with me in the car and around to to doctor's appointments and things like that, like this project goes. And let me go to my markup and I can tell you how much of this I have stitched. All right, a lot of it actually. So it's telling me that I have 52.8% of the entire chart done. I have stitched 2,133 stitches on it. So that's the one that I have 2,000 stitches on, this project. I love stitching on this. It's fun. I love to see how it's coming together. It is Letchworth State Park. I'm stitching this on this a spare spare piece of 32 count limestone Lugana even weave. And there it is. And you can see why. I mean, this has just been so much fun to stitch. And yes, the Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale, people. But recently, I've been watching The Last Man on Earth, which is kind of very freaky and scary because it takes place in 2021, and it's about a man who is left like deserted on Earth. Well, a group of people, small group of people that are left deserted on Earth after a virus. But the killer is that this series was filmed from 2015 to 2018. That is the killer. And I'm sure that when like people actually watched it, they were like floored when the pandemic hit in that same amount of time. Like that's just crazy to me. Anyways, there's that. Okay, next up, I worked on The Most Wonderful Feast of the Year by Sue Hillis Designs. Remember, this is the one that I restarted, but you didn't find that out until the last clip video that I had, that I restarted this. And so I have been working on this since I filmed that as well. So I have more done on it. And since you just saw what I had done the first time, this will be pretty cool for you to see how I've decided to do this. So here's my progress. Isn't it wonderful? That's so cool. And I decided to do the back stitch as I go to make it easier. So yes, that is where that is. I'm loving it so much better now. I did run out of a color I had to go and get from Michael's. By the way, 79 cents for a skein of DMC seems outrageous to me. I know that some places around the world it's a lot more expensive than that, but from my experience it's always been about 50 cents a skein, and I know I can get that. I know I can get it for less at Hobby Lobby, a little bit less because I get a teacher discount at Michael's, but I don't shop at Hobby Lobby that much, and that's for my own personal reasons. So I will go in there when I have to. I will go in there and buy fabric in there sometimes. I do go in there sometimes to buy like finishing products and things like that. So it's not like I've got a full ban on it, but for personal reasons, I prefer to shop at Michael's than Hobby Lobby. So there's that. I'm hoping that the economy shifts a little bit back in a better direction, hopefully soon. Okay, next up. Not that one, because I didn't work on either of those. I didn't work on that, not on that, or that, or that. So everything in that bag I have not worked on. All right, next up is my Summer at the Shore by Cottage Garden Samplings. I stitch a lot of their pieces. This is the 4th or 5th one that I have stitched of theirs. I really love them very much. And I worked on this quite a bit while watching The Last Man on Earth. So a lot of the show is going to be, this show anyway, is attached to this piece. I was working on it yesterday, so excuse me for a minute while I clean up my mess just a little bit. Okay. I got the seagull done completely. So the seagull is done. And now I'm working on the post that he is standing on. And when I did go to Michael's and get the colors that I needed for this one, get him close so maybe you can see the patterning on him. It's pretty incredible. So yeah, this part seems boring. And over here is this lighthouse. I'm sure that's gonna not be as much fun, but I'm gonna do outlining, so I think I can just fill in when it's time, so it's just easier. And I think I'll get a lot more of it done that way. All right, where is this has just been living in this little tiny bag. I need a project bag for this, I think. I have one. I'm sure I can find one. It's a little beat up, this pattern. If I don't take the time to do this now, I'll have to do it after. I don't want to do that. All right, next up, Land That I Love. I worked on Land That I Love pretty earnestly. This is by Teresa Kogut. It is a huge sampler. It is the only sampler, like classical sampler, that I have in my rotation. I'm not a huge fan of samplers, but I love this one, from the strawberries to the coloring to the houses. I mean, I absolutely love this. And so I was at the Barefoot Needle Art retreat in February. And this was a piece that I had taken with me. It was on my Whipco. I'm not sure if it was on my Whipco board or not. Anyways, I made a decision to finish the border, to not the whole border, but the wraparound border, so that I could make sure that everything fit, like that it came together. And this is a little wrinkly, but I'm happy to say that it did. So I have this wraparound border all done, and it matched up. So I am thrilled with that, that it matched up. And so now I feel like I can go around and kind of work wherever I want, because I know that the border is set and it's kind of in the right spot. I didn't want to get, like, I had done this all before, and I didn't want to get like to a point where I had done all of this work and there'd be a mistake. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to finish this outside border. I'm just going to finish it and make sure that it matches up, and then I'll start really working on filling in. So now I can have fun with the colors and the pieces. I did change this because I did not have the, what is it called? blue corn, which is a classic Colorworks color, and instead I am using, what am I using instead? Not the one that calls for, I don't believe. I am using 930 instead. So, which is fine. It's coming out beautiful. So it's supposed to be 3760, but I don't know if I just didn't have it. I mean, I started this in 2023-ish. So yeah, it was 2023. Yeah. So I don't know. Anyways, that's where that is. All right, next up, I have been working on, it's snow time. I know it's kind of a weird time of year to be working on this, but I just want to get some of these projects that have been hanging around for a while completed. So it's snow time. I did start this in August of 2022. I know that because I started this when I moved to North Carolina and my son and I were living by ourselves. So my 17-year-old going on 18-year-old son stayed in New York with my husband when we first moved to North Carolina so that he could graduate from high school. And so he stayed with me. I had to come early to start work, and he came with me, and he was with me for 3 weeks before the rest of the family came. And then when my husband came up, the kids started school, and then he and my husband went back to New York for that year so that he could graduate from high school. And those 3 weeks where it was just the two of us together were very special. And I definitely remember starting this then. So that's how come I remember that. Most of the time I'm not going to remember. Sometimes I can remember about when I started, but I don't keep a book. I don't keep track of that stuff. I just kind of, like I said, I'm kind of type B. So like I do keep track kind of in my brain, and I do have a running list of all of my whips. So I know like what year I started them and how many I have going. But I don't really like keep track of like how many stitches I've stitched or the percentage that I'm on, things like that. So next up, so I'm showing you this now, what I've been working on. So I finished the snowman around the bottom. So I finished this around the bottom, and now I'm just filling it in. So it's a lot of white stitching. And then I'm going to go up to the head and get that done. I have a tree to stitch, a second cardinal. These are a beast. Like anytime you look at the cottage carton samplings, like patterns, they are incredible, but they are not for the faint of heart when it comes to their stitching stamina. You need to have a good amount of stitching stamina to stitch these. They are not full coverage, but there's a lot of stitching in them. They're gorgeous. All right, so that is all the cross stitching I have done. Oh no, I have actually, hang on, hold that thought for a second. I started this dimensions kit too. This chain. I started this, when did I start this? At the end of spring break. We were watching movies. Easter. I know, I started this on Easter Sunday. I'm like, we were watching movies, I remember. Yes, because it was Easter. I don't know why I started a Christmas piece on Easter, but I did. I love these little kits. I have a whole bunch of them. And I felt like this one was going to be easy because this little wagon here has just a lot of the same color in it. That's how far I am on that. Working on that present, that first present. Super cute. I love these, like I said. This will definitely go to New York with me along with another one. I haven't stitched any of these for my own children. So that is the goal this year, to be stitching these. I've stitched one for each of my nieces and my nephew. And then this year is the year for our kids. And then maybe I'll start pre-stitching for anybody else's kids as well. So, all right, that's all the stitching I've done. All right, let's talk for a minute about plans. I am doing WIPGO. I have not stitched anything WIPGO in a while. I have not called, like the numbers that have been called, I put into my WIPGO board and I'm really good about keeping track, but I have not stitched any of those. And that's okay with me. I have never done WIPGO to be like strict about WIPGO. It's just, I have those projects on there because I know those are the projects that I want to work on this year. And so when I get to those projects in my mind and they're on the board, then I just work it. Some of the ones that I have on there, I want to work on, but I don't want to work on at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But I will eventually come around to it. I always do. I don't always finish my WIPGO board for the year, but I always come around to it. Always. As far as other plans go, I'm going to be in New York and I'm going to be close to Hobby House. My plan is to go there. I go there every year when I go to New York. They are doing a summer retreat and I'm actually going to be there during that time, but I'm finding the cost to be a lot more expensive than what I am willing to pay when I live, when I should say when I live so close. When I am in New York, I am so close to Hobby House that it feels like to pay that much money to go to the retreat just seems like a lot for me. Not that it's a lot of money, because I really don't know how much retreats are. I've only been to the Barefoot Needle Art one, and that's the only one that I've ever gotten into or tried to get into or anything like that. So I can't speak to like how expensive they are in general, but that one is just a little bit more expensive for me. But if you want to check out their retreat, you can find information for it on their Facebook page for Hobby House Needleworks. It's actually Hobby House Landing now because they have combined all of their businesses into one location. It used to be 3 different locations or 2 different locations, 3 separate businesses. And now they're all in one place. And I have been at their new place, and their new place is phenomenal. It's much larger. But I do miss the little quaintness of their previous place, because that was the place where I first started going to them. Actually, I first started going to them in the summer of 2020. I'm pretty sure we were wearing masks the first time I went in there. And that was their opening summer. It was like their opening summer. And I've always loved going there. Kathy and David are amazing people. And so my daughter would go with me just so that she could spend time with their dogs. And so I do look forward to going there. So I will be going there while I'm up there. And other than that, I don't really have a lot of plans. I do need to finish some things. Like on my table behind me, I actually set out 3 things to finish over spring break. And they are not done still. These are the 3 things that I pulled out to completely finish over spring break. I stitched this in 2022, start and finish in 2022, start and finish in 2022. I finished this last year. And I had these out because I was going to fully finish them. And they're still sitting here. Not done. Maybe. They're on my list. I will. But anyways, I hope everybody enjoys their Memorial Day weekend. Thank you for stopping in and spending some time with me. I don't know how much I'm going to film over the summer because it is, like I said, my time in New York with family and friends, and usually I don't film during that time, but I will try to get a video done in June before we leave. And then I will have a video in August when I get back. And usually that's a mini whip parade, or like a mid-year whip parade. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know. I'm happy to answer anything. Thank you for stopping by. Please say hello to me. I love that when people write in the comments and say hi. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please feel free to follow me on Instagram. I always put my Instagram in my description box below. And I hope that y'all have a good start to your summer season this weekend with Memorial Day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye now.